Oh, yes, we are live on another episode of the Calcio Connection
Well, you
podcast.
didn't do the intro. I thought you do the 30-second intro. What is this?
I
What a
don't know.
failure, eh?
I
What a
forgot to do the
failure.
30-second countdown.
What a failure.
Listen,
Bro, you failed it like Juve did.
I'm rejoicing about the most prestigious trophy in Calcio. What are you talking about? Supercoppa champions, baby. Supercoppa champions. So we are we are live to talk about it. We'll talk some Serie A as well. Alex Donno alongside Jerry Mancini as always. Our guests Jan and Mass, who viewers of this show and listeners of this show already know these guys very well. But Jerry, I'll go to you first. And I know you were watching the match, even though the four of us were talking earlier. And Supercoppa is one of those things you don't really care about it unless your team is playing in it. Right. I mean, I've skipped a lot of these Supercoppas over the years, just because it seems like there are more important things in life to focus on. But at the end of the day, it's still a trophy, and it's the first trophy any team is eligible to win during an Italian football season. And Inter were able to get that today, 2-1. I know, Jerry, you watched the match because you are an undercover Interista, as everyone knows. And you're also a big Simone Inzaghi fan. So what did you think of the match?
I love Inzaghi. I think he's the most underrated manager. I think he doesn't get enough appreciation and respect for what he's been able to accomplish with Lazio, and already with Inter, the fact that they lost their two best players and took on a team that had a lot of issues within the organization, considering if they were going to be sold or what was going to happen or the future or Newcastle owners coming in or whatever it may be. Okay. And he still guides them in the right direction. It was kind of a slow start. The identity wasn't there, but this is Inzaghi ball. It always starts slow, but once he gets a grasp of his team and has an idea of what he wants, it starts to kick off. And that's what's happening here. People are going to say it's a Supercoppa, no one cares. Anytime there's a rivalry between, say, Juve, Inter Milan will say, or Juve Milan, there's bragging rights, okay? Don't even ever say that it's just no one gives a shit, because it's more significance because of the matchup, and you want that upper hand.
Yeah, like I'll just interject. When Inter were eliminated in Coppa Italia over the two legs last year, like that was upsetting. Like, you know, and maybe Coppa I care about a little bit more than Supercoppa, but they're both, you know, behind the Scudetto and behind like competing for Champions League or Europa League. I don't hold Coppa as highly, but I was fucking pissed last year, Jerry, when Inter were eliminated by Juventus. So you're right. Whether you're facing, you know, a team like Juve in Supercoppa and Coppa last year, facing Milan and Coppa last year, you always want to win those games.
Well, I think a Supercoppa could be equally as important, because you won the Coppa Italia to get to that. True. You came first to win a Scudetto to get to that. So the work that you had to do in order to get there kind of has to be remembered. I'm gonna say something my wife actually told me today after the game, and she said, "Why isn't anybody talking about Antonio Conte and some of the credit he deserves, because they wouldn't be in a Supercoppa right now if it wasn't for Conte." And my wife's like, well, why does Inzaghi get it if he never took them last year? And I go, it's the shit of the luck where you take over the team and you become the next guy. But she's right though. Like, I think that Conte deserves some credit. I didn't want to tweet that out because I didn't want to steal the spotlight from Inzaghi, because at the end of the day, he won it. It's not in Conte, but this identity this team has, the foundation, working hard, that all started from Conte.
Yeah,
and
the intensity and the fitness as well.
You can't take that away, but again, it's always going to fall back to the point where, well, Inzaghi did this and he took over with less players, and Conte had that, and it's like, no, but Conte did something as well. But at the end of the day, it was a close match between two sides where they both equally had chances. I don't think one side dominated the other. That is kind of unfair to Juventus. I don't think they were outplayed. I think their problem was they sat back a little bit at time too
Dinosaur
much.
Ball.
Yeah, where they took the lead, and I guess you can't really say Dinosaur Ball kicked in, but overall, a mistake at the end of the day. cost him. And it's funny because, and I tweeted it out, and people were laughing at me like, no, it's not. Inzaghi got one again the same way. Jordan Lukaku gets around De Chilio in 2017, beats him on the corner on a pass, gets Morja. Today, a cross into the box, and this time it's Alexandro. I don't know what he was doing, to be honest.
He was trying to chest it to Chiellini, like he was trying to pass it to him.
I don't know what he was doing.
It was a terror. Well, he was trying to pass it to his center back partner. And I got to say, like that was a really dangerous pass. And I'm not saying it wasn't a mistake. It was a mistake. But dude, Matteo Darmian pounced on that thing like a mongoose pouncing on a snake. Like it wasn't, it was a mistake by Sandro, no question. But Darmian still did very well to poke that away, because I could have easily seen that being like, a risky chest pass. And, if Darmian hadn't pounced on it, Chiellini could have still gotten a foot on it and cleared it. But Darmian did really well to capitalize on a really dumb mistake.
It kind of reminds me of Jorginho for Chelsea versus Manchester United, when he was last man back and he kind of didn't receive the pass properly and didn't control it right. And he lost possession and Man United scored. And it's similar because Alexandro receives the pass or the cross and doesn't control it properly, and a quick mistake, and all of a sudden you're being pressured and it's done. So I'll say the last part is the defending kind of reminded me of Lazio on Sunday, where Bastoni crosses the ball into the box and no one's alert quick enough to pick up their guys, and it's kind of the same breakdown as Juventus to Lazio, where they didn't pick up their man. And the one thing I think there's a lot of praise for Inter, but the one player who I am really iffy about now is De Vrij. And I want to hear you guys, because De Vrij, I don't think he's lost a step in this game. He was accountable for the first goal. He made a massive mistake on that, okay? I don't know what he was doing. And there was another sequence where I believe he almost scored in his own net, or he headed it out of bounds or something like that. And he kind of made a misplay where it almost cost it into a turnover and a goal. So, like, that's all I have to say. I want to hear you guys. Maybe I know you guys probably don't have much because you haven't seen the Supercoppa, but we're not going to talk about it for a whole hour. But hold on, Jan. I am going to ask you after about Milan and Roma, because
sure.
And we got Mass on here too.
Yeah, that's why we got both of these guys on.
This
for
is
that.
really good.
I'll try and like quote some. I'll cite some articles if I can, if I bring up any facts when we talk about Roma and Milan. But I just wanted to say I'm very happy now that I can celebrate Milan's Supercoppa from a few years ago, because Inter finally won one. So thank you. Thank you. It's finally like I can finally go out and celebrate that Super Cup that I saw them win. I believe they beat Inter in that one there, right?
No, I think it was Juve, no?
It was Juve? Oh, maybe it was Juve on penalty shots. Yeah, something like that. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I was thinking of Coppa, not Supercoppa. Yeah,
it was a while ago. Winning a Coppa Italia was even longer for Milan. So thank you for that. So we can finally celebrate. But the other interesting thing I wanted to chime in before was like you're mentioning Mattia De Chilio was in a final 2017, and Juve is still using him. So that just goes to show you where they're at with their defense right now. I can't believe, like, I used to defend that player when he was at Milan because he came through our Primavera, and everyone was like, the next Maldini, which gets thrown around way too much.
Way too much.
Like, anyway, but so he's still at Juve. I didn't watch the game. I was working today. I didn't watch the game. I did follow on social media. You see that one goal by Juventus, you expect this is what they're going to do. It's what Allegri likes to play. They like to sit back, which I don't understand, because not to bring up bad memories, Mass, they scored 3 goals in 7 minutes on Sunday. This team can't score goals, it seems. I mean, we all make fun of Roma. Roma's, still a Serie A team that they scored 3 goals against in 7 minutes. So, like, why did you sit back to allow Inter to come back in this game when they could have easily maybe tried to go for a second goal? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what happened to Juve, and I think the better team won. And Inter's clearly the best team in Serie A. It's been like that since at least the last year, if not the beginning of 2 years ago. So the better team won, and that's it. That's all I really have to say about the game. I mean, I didn't watch it. I just followed on social media. So
yeah, and Inter certainly could have been more clinical in the game, taking advantage of more chances. That seems to happen a lot with this group. For as many open play goals as they do score, they leave a lot off the table as well. There could have been multiple additional penalties given in this game. I mean, Juve had one that could have been given. Inter had a couple of more that could have been given in addition to the one that they were given that I know people were arguing about. And, Jan, you and I were talking about this before the show, the Dzeko De Sciglio play that was given a penalty. Yeah. I think we can agree on this, that if they were to just say we're not calling those anymore, I'd be fine with it. But at the same time, those get pretty consistently called now in the Serie A and around Europe. So and obviously easy for me to say given the colors that I'm wearing, but I've seen it called against Inter as well. Now you see one called in Inter's favor. If they're going to call those consistently, that's the most important thing. But if they got rid of that rule or whatever you want to call it, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, Dybala made a career from that call. I mean, in and around the box. He's perfect at it. He knows exactly what to do, where to go in with the ball. He got Romagnoli 2 years ago very well with a similar, that play is there. And like you said, they call it. So, I mean, it is a penalty, but it's funny how, it's Twitter. So everyone is showing reverse slow-mo down angles. And it's like, yeah, that's a penalty. It's just like you can slow it down anywhere you want. Show me any freeze frame. It's going to be called 99% of the time. So
yeah, and it's the one consistent call they've been calling. So you know what I mean. I'm not complaining.
Pretty much.
There's some sort of consistency at least.
Yeah, so. And the hero in this one, it was really dramatic the way that it played out. And overall, I don't think Inter played that great. I think that they were the better side in this match. Juve also were missing a lot more key players than Inter was, and Inter did have, although it sounded like there were a lot of Juve fans, because I'm sure they allotted the tickets pretty evenly for Supercoppa. So there are definitely a lot of Juve fans there, but obviously Inter had the advantage of playing in their home stadium. So even though I wasn't really satisfied with the way the match was going, and it was 1-1 into, extra time, and they were literally, guys, they were seconds away from going to penalty kicks. And that's when, Inter were able to create a goal assisted by Alexandro, who tried to chest it back to Chiellini. And then Matteo Darmian, as I mentioned, I thought made a great hustle play to poke it out in front to Alexis, who was able to clinically bury the finish. And it was one of those things, that game was kind of putting me to sleep before that goal. And I'm mentally preparing for penalties. And Juve was about to bring Bonucci on so he could be part of the penalty kick shootout. It was literally Inter score on the final touch of the game, literally. And for as much as I, wasn't all that interested up until that moment, you better believe I'm jumping up and down. I'm like, Supercoppa, this is amazing. I'm going to grab my son to watch the replay of the goal. He couldn't care less. He wanted to watch cartoons, but it was one of those things, man. Let's see. We got, and by the way, huge shout out to everybody watching us live, or if you're watching us later on, that's okay as well. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. Faiz 1908 writes in, Hakan has more trophy than euros we spent on him. Thanks, Maldini. Yeah, and we do have the resident Milanista in the group. So
go ahead, enjoy. I mean, I think he booted one. He was practicing for the NFL playoffs. No, in this game. That's what I was reading on Twitter. He booted a nice one. And I was reading now. I don't know if this is true, that he had just an average, a subpar game, but because Inter won, we'll just let it go. I don't know, how did he play?
Yeah, no, I thought he was pretty good in the game. I don't think anybody outside of maybe De Vrij was poor in the match. Brozovic also had a couple of heavy touches. He looked maybe a little bit sort of he's looked rusty since the restart now in the last couple of games, but he did some good things as well.
He's in contract negotiations too, though, right, Brozovic?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty much done, unless yeah, and unless somebody, unless it's an Inzaghi Lotito situation where somebody goes back on the word. It seems like it's pretty much done there. But yeah, I mean, Jerry, what did you think of the goal that Juventus scored? To me, you could probably put some blame on a couple of different people from an Inter side. I put it primarily though on Stefan de Vrij, because he was responsible for marking Weston McKennie at that moment, and he completely just let him get away for a free header. And I also thought Handanovic looked a little bit lazy on that play. He could have had a better angle. Still, even if he'd had a better angle, I don't know if he was going to stop a header from like 4 feet outside the box. But I wasn't really happy with the way he left the entire far side of his goal open. But Jerry, I put most of the blame on that on De Vrij.
Yeah, we'll have to watch the replay of the goal again. But from what I saw, it was poor man marking from De Vrij. And I was wondering, does Bastoni maybe have to be in that area as well? Or because I see him running back afterwards and he's caught out too. So
yeah,
does Bastoni get any criticism on that goal, or is it squarely just De Vrij? Because
I think it's a good question, because I did see a couple of people on Twitter trying to blame Bastoni because at the actual, but here's the thing, at the actual moment that McKennie headed it, Bastoni was closer to McKennie than De Vrij was. But if you watch like the 2 seconds that led up to it, De Vrij was marking McKennie and then he drifted off. So I don't think that that Bastoni even had time to react and like, oh my God, he left his man free, I've got to cut in. I think it was on De Vrij.
I think Skriniar needs to get a little blame too on the goal, because for a guy who's very physical and is in your face kind of player, I'm surprised. Who's the guy who Morata makes the pass, the cross into the box, and I would have thought that Skriniar
good cross, by the way.
It was, but look at the space he has to make that in the time. He's not being pressured, so it's kind of easy for him to even make that pass. And the fact that he's not on a yellow card kind of makes it more, why didn't you get in there? Like, pressure him at least. You don't have to slide challenge all the time, but if you throw a player off, he's not going to make that pass probably 9 out of 10 times. So I think that's one thing. But the one player who I thought was very bad was Joaquin Correa. He was
wasn't good. Well, the thing with me, Jerry, he and Alexis ended up scoring, which was great. But Correa and Alexis do not play well together. So I didn't when Inzaghi made that substitution, I didn't like it. I thought he should have brought on one or the other, preferably Alexis, because Alexis has been in better form lately. I thought he should have brought on one or the other and kept Lautaro or Dzeko on the pitch. Maybe, Dzeko being, half senior citizen, maybe it was time to get him off the pitch and not make him play extra time. But I thought that they should have left one of those two on.
I don't know, man. Like, it's like Correa hasn't looked good with anybody, to be honest.
No.
He hasn't looked good with anybody. I'm sorry.
He's better. I think he's probably best with Dzeko because they complement each other the best. But he's not been great, no doubt. Just not good with Alexis whatsoever.
He needs a Ciro Immobile to play beside him. And I hate to say this. I'm not saying because I'm a Ciro Immobile guy. They complement each other very well. Yeah. That's the thing. His style of play, Ciro, where he plays in behind the defense and makes those runs. And Correa makes those fast runs down the side.
Well, and that's why I think he and Dzeko play better together, because it's a similar role that he plays.
No, absolutely. But I just think that there's something about, and I know I might sound biased. You guys can call me a flame or whatever you want to call me, man. But there's something about Immobile where it allows other players to kind of elevate their game. And I don't know what it is. When he's out of the lineup, Lazio looks like shit, okay? It's day and night. When he's in the lineup, the players beside him elevate their game. Like, it's crazy. Pedro's Pedro this year, but when Pedro has Immobile beside him, all of a sudden this guy is a beast. You got Alberto, and all of a sudden his game goes to the next level. You put Correa in, and they always work together. And something that I don't like to hear that. Oh, well, Sanchez is the wrong guy, but guess what? You got to figure out how to make it work too. You're on the pitch. You got to make it work. And by saying that it's the wrong pair is a lazy man's excuse. Because when I got to see Correa walk around, not move, not run, look stationary.
Well, and he plays like a winger too sometimes.
Yeah,
he needs to be more central.
How much did they pay for him? How much did they pay for him?
35 million.
So 31 million,
31. Yeah.
That kind of negates your Hakan signing right there. Because you're paying 35 million for a guy that's not really.
You're right. The money that they saved on Hakan, they paid for Correa. Well, the other thing,
that's what happens. It happens.
Well, and Jerry, I want to.
I don't want to jump on that. I don't want to jump on that because it's still early. But
and that's what I was going to say. But here's the thing. Not only is it still early, This is like, you can also criticize Correa for this because he's an injury-prone player, Jerry, and you know that from his time at Lazio. It's like, not only is it early, like they're just over the halfway mark of his first season at Inter, but he's also, I don't have the exact number in front of me of games that he's missed due to injury and lack of fitness coming back, but he's also missed a bunch of games. So it's like, and you talked about how good he was with Immobile, which is true, but how many years did they play together? So it's
2.
like, was it only 2?
2 or 3 years. That's
Okay,
it,
I thought 3. Okay, yeah, but still, like.
But his first season, he's hardly played, and then it didn't kick off. He got there in 2018-19, played 2019-20, and then last year. The problem with Correa too is he can't stay fit either, man. That fucking guy.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, part of the reason why he doesn't have chemistry with all of his strike partners is he's just not been healthy and around long enough to do. And that's kind of what I thought would be the case with Dzeko this year, because he's older, but he's, outside, he had COVID recently. Most of that was during the international break, though. Like, outside of that, he's been available very consistently where Correa hasn't.
Well, Dzeko also is a professional that's used to be one of the top strikers in the league, and now is a very good veteran striker, and he knows how to train. This is Correa's problem. I look at this like when I look at a guy like Pellegrini that's at Milan on loan. He was plagued by injuries at Monaco, comes to Milan, new, fresh, obviously your third striker, always injured in training. These guys are
Correa,
maybe not.
Same thing.
You can't blame the training staff all the time. These guys are not working out properly. They're not eating properly. They're not sleeping enough. They're doing something that's fucking wrong. So. Exactly, because if a guy like Dzeko or Zlatan can, keep playing at their age, Correa, come on, man, get it together. You got a big money move to go to Inter. Here's your chance. You've gone to a bigger club, like take it, but he hasn't. So, look, and like Jerry said, it's still early. But if we're gonna say the Hakan signing is amazing, which it has been for Inter so far, we have to say that that's a flop. Where we're at in the season right now, it isn't, and everything can change in 2 years. You know what I mean? So. That was it.
Yeah, and also, and I'll say this about Hakan, Jan, that and obviously I not only see the Milanisti what they say about the guy, but I watched him at Milan with my own eyes, and so I saw the inconsistency, like with Hakan. And ironically enough, I am wearing a Hakan jersey, and I not only bought this jersey to honor him, but I also bought it so I could tweet pictures of it and upset people. Like, I bought it as a troll, but I like what he's doing. But at the same time, it's like, I saw enough of him at Milan to know how he can go through these like several week-long droughts of just playing poorly. So I'm always like, are we sure we're not going to have one of those at some point? It's like, for the first month and a half of the season this year, he was not good at all. And then from the Milan derby on, he's hit form, and he hasn't looked back ever since. It's been about 2 months now. He's been sensational, but I know the inconsistency that he's capable of. So I'm always wondering, at what point is Hakan just going to lose his confidence and lose his brain for like a month and a half?
He's on a better team too, though, and that helps. Yeah. And he's taking advantage of the situation that he's put in. So I have to commend him for that. Like, good for you, Hakan. Like, you got put in a situation, you're taking advantage of that situation, and good for you. Where we were talking about Correa, and he was given a good situation, and he hasn't taken that opportunity.
Bingo.
And that's that's all I really want to outline about those two players is. Yeah, I don't like Hakan. And it's funny, you're wearing a Hakan shirt. This is a Milan jersey that has Bonucci in the back. So we both got some snakes going on the back of our shirts. I didn't even plan that.
Wow.
But, yeah. That's why I'm wearing it, because I can cover it. So no one sees it.
I see. So yeah, cool. Because you live in a part of the world where you can actually wear jackets. Like here, I get like 3 of those days a year. So I don't have too many jackets. I want to answer this one, and I want to know what Jerry thinks as well. He says, Alex, would Inter have won if it went to penalties? Honestly, I don't think so, because Inter's penalty kick takers are shady. Like, I don't really trust them to be I mean, Lautaro made a beautiful penalty today, put it top corner, but every time that guy steps up to the spot, I get really nervous. I think Hakan, if I'm not mistaken, was no longer in the game at that point. So who knows what you would, because he's actually seemingly Inter's better penalty kick taker. Yeah. He's consistent on that at least. And I mean, if Federico Di Marco stepped up to hit a penalty, you'd put it in the 17th row. So it's like, I don't know, Inter just don't really have a lot of competent penalty kick takers. And it's something, and I've said this before on the show, but I don't think I've said it in months. That's one of the things that about losing Lukaku that people forget about. Right, because it's easy to look at Inter and say, like, hey, top attack in Serie A, top of the table. They don't really miss Lukaku, but guys, the one thing that I keep thinking about is Lukaku 2 seasons at Inter. I don't know how many penalty kicks he took. It was a lot in 2 seasons. He never missed a single penalty kick in an Inter shirt. Never. And now when Inter have a penalty kick taker step up, it feels like an adventure every time. Like I think Hakan's the best PK taker, yet Lautaro, for reasons I can't understand, is the penalty kick taker when Hakan should be taking them. And DiMarco and Dzeko doesn't even want to take penalty kicks. So who knows what a shit show that would be if he did. So it's like that's one thing people forget about with Lukaku. Not only do you lose him in open play, you lose his penalty kicks, and he was money from the spot for 2 years, Jerry.
Well, I think that they had the better goalkeeper for penalties.
Yeah.
I think Padin is a very underrated goalkeeper who did really well at Genoa, and was nice to see that he got to start today, to be honest. I didn't think he played bad at all. Thought he played well. Looked really confident, and a bold decision, but one that I guess had to be made. And I think that's one thing I'll respect for Allegri is that, and I don't want to make this political about the whole situation, right? I just want to say that he stuck to his guns, and he didn't treat his team one person different than the other.
Right.
Kept it consistent, and that's it. And I think that's the most important thing in the dressing room. That can go a long way to their season, is showing the team is like no one is better or less than someone else. These are the rules. They apply to everyone. I know a lot of people in the world don't like it. I don't want to get political, like I said. I just think that that's the best way to kind of treat the dressing room. And that's all you can do, right? Like, Correa, man. He reminds me of Felipe Anderson. They just swap places. They're both inconsistent.
Yeah,
they're hot and cold, man. Like they're just both hot and cold. That's what I've noticed from both of them this year. One turns it on, one turns it off. Like it's like, I don't know, man. But
well, and I think there's a lot of pressure on both him and Simone Inzaghi to make it worth the 31 million that they paid, because I believe in the case of Correa, that was more of an Inzaghi signing than a Beppe Marotta signing, because Inter were looking at multiple different strikers in that price range. Maybe a couple of them could have. I know one guy they would have probably brought in was Thuram, but he got hurt like right before.
yes.
Right before they were going to make that move. So I think they maybe said, okay, our next choice is going to be Correa. We're going to give Inzaghi someone he's coached before and is comfortable with. So I think that puts extra pressure on Inzaghi. And like, obviously, Inzaghi's doing sensationally well. So I'm not trying to say his job is on the line or anything like that. Far from it. But still, when you're the reason why a certain player is bought at a price like 31 million, for a team having financial troubles at that point, like that is a big signing. Like the 31 million that they paid for him in 2021 was about as equivalent to like the 60 some million that they paid for Lukaku a couple of years forward, if you look at the financial troubles. So I think there's pressure on Inzaghi and certainly on Correa to make that work. So hopefully he can figure things out in the second half of the year. So Mass, I hate to bring it up, but how that was really, really tough result from Roma. And it's like, I follow so many Roma fans, yourself included, another friend of our show, Chris DeSantis, our guy, Steve Chavillo. I feel especially bad for Chris because he seems to take every loss so personally. Mass, I feel like you should go to his house and give him therapy after some of these Roma games.
We vented our frustrations watching that game. I missed a bit of it, but I ended up watching the entire replay on DAZN using a VPN, obviously. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. I mean, when's the last time you've seen Roma put up 3 goals on Juventus too, right? I mean, like I'm trying to find bright spots. I mean, look,
I love your attitude.
No, but it's true because, like,
yeah,
I feel like, I mean, a lot of Roma Twitter was like in a meltdown. But I mean, we know that this whole situation with Mourinho is gonna take time. We're seeing improvements. We're scoring. It's not like we're sitting back and getting slapped, or like we're putting up goals. We're generating opportunities. We're getting chances. We're scoring. The problem now is we got to defend. We got to let in less than we score, right? I mean, that's how you win. You gotta concede less. The problem is that, I mean, we had lost. Who did we lose that game? We lost Karsdorp because of the red. No, Karsdorp got a red last.
Yeah, against
Did
Milan.
he get it against Milan? Yeah, him and Mancini.
You got 2
both
yellows.
getting
You
a
got
red.
Theo waved them away.
Yeah, he waved them away. So two guys right there gone. I mean, look, Maitland Niles, the guy we signed right out the gate from Arsenal on loan, he did pretty well to slot in right away. He got thrown into the fire. They started him right out the gate. We signed him, and 3 days later, he's in the starting lineup. He
That's
looked
crazy.
good. I liked him. Yeah.
Well,
He
and
looked
that's
great.
probably one of those things where like he looked good the first game, and then because like it's all adrenaline, like you've been there for 3 days, and then it's probably going to take him a while now to adjust.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. I mean, so far, with all our signings so far, I mean, they've all looked pretty great. I mean, look at Tammy Abraham. He finally got the
Amazing.
monkey off his back, and he's been scoring.
Yep.
He's been contributing. Shamirov, I mean, comes in here and there. I mean, a little pricey for how we're using him, but I mean, it is what it is. But he looks all right as well. I'm not gonna complain. But Roma played pretty well up until we started just conceding goals the way we were.
That's what Ivano was saying too.
Yeah, they played well. I mean, but mentally, I feel like this team that's what they're lacking. They're lacking some mental toughness. They conceded one.
Yeah,
they came back.
Are
It's
they
a
getting
problem.
that like from Mourinho? Because I know like that's got to be one of the reasons why he was brought in. Like I know that they didn't just bring him in for entertaining press conferences. I think
No.
creating more toughness and a more defensive mentality. So do you see signs of it, or is there just so far they need to go?
Conceding 7 goals in 2 games since the restarts, we're not really seeing
not
some
good.
good signs on the defensive side of things, but it's gonna come. I mean, we got to be patient. Look, Mourinho's still bringing in guys. We just signed Oliveira from Porto on loan as well, who, depending what happens, I think is probably gonna also start against Cagliari. We're missing a couple of guys that Juve game, so I mean, it's not all bad, but they're gonna have to address those issues of mental toughness. And the one thing I do see Mourinho and what we've seen over the course of the season, what he has brought to this team is that identity, because everyone wasn't really showing any fight. Now you see the guys kind of standing up for each other on the field. You're seeing things get chippy on the field. Like these guys are finally kind of having some sort of fight in them. I just think that they need to work well against adversity. Like I feel like once they get scored on a couple of times, they're playing frustrated football, and once you're playing frustrated calcio, you're not going to do much. When you're playing frustrated, you're not thinking straight. You're just trying to get results, and you're forcing things, and then that's how you get those red cards from like a Mancini and a Karsdorp against Milan. They gotta calm down once they go down a few goals. I think that's the thing. Yeah, we were missing guys, I know. But what do you want to do? We have to we field an 11, and we have to play with that, right? Whether we're missing some key pieces or not. The one real key piece that I see that when he is missing is Pellegrini, though. When Pellegrini is missing, that's where you notice the team's completely different. There's like a hole there.
I agree.
Yeah. You maybe miss like last year's form of Smalling, because this year he's been looking more like the Smalling that I saw at Manchester United when he was lapsing, like against Milan, and even like that Locatelli goal. Like, how much space are you going to give players?
He's been very hot and cold.
Last year he looked very good for you guys. And also when he first arrived, which was the year before that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But this year I'm just finding he's not playing like he look like I'm guessing here. I'm not going to say it's a fact, but to me, like Mourinho would look at a guy like that to be one of the veterans to lead the team, and I just find that he's one of the guys that's not leading you guys very well. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but
he's also been one of those guys that hasn't been fully fit either. He hasn't really been in the lineup consistently either. He's been kind of in and out. But when it's very hot and cold, because even before the start of the restart of the season, he was playing pretty well before the Christmas break. He was all right once they got in there, and then you're starting to see flashes of inconsistency. But that's been the story of this team from the get-go. It's not just him. We can't just go pinpoint out Smalling. The entire team's been wholly inconsistent. Our only 2 consistent factors now that he's found this form has been Abraham and Pellegrini. Pellegrini's just been balling and putting the team on his back when he can.
Yeah.
which
He's
is a
great.
bit of a problem.
He's awesome.
But Ivano brings up a good point because I'm seeing the chat kind of scrolling up here too as well. Spinazzola gets back February. They're projecting for February as well.
Great.
So, which is good news. We need some help on the left side. I feel like Vigna hasn't really adapted well to Serie A. And I mean, I see people shouting out Veretout, but Veretout has kind of taken a step back in his form as of late. He hasn't been very, very good.
He was
been
very
night and
big
day
for you
with
guys
Barry.
last year. He was big
At
for you
the
guys
start of
last
the
year.
season. At the start of the season, he was all right too, and then I don't know. He just had a dip in form, and he hasn't been the same since.
You know, I
we're
flashed
gonna
this.
see.
I flashed this earlier, but let me bring this up again. I love how in a game between Inter and Juventus, Jerry, he still finds a way to banter Roma. Edin Dzeko holding the trophy. Jerry, look at that smile. That's the smile of a man who knows this trophy doesn't need to be watered. I mean, I give you credit, man. That's a masterpiece.
Jan helped me with that.
Oh,
one.
really? I didn't know
he helped
that.
me with that one. I needed help. I'm not good at banter. I won't lie on the pod.
No, but it's fun. You have some good ones, Jerry. It's great. I mean, I see you trigger a lot of the Roma fan base, but I take it all in good fun. You know what I mean? If you can't take banter, you take everything too seriously. It's not fun anymore.
Jerry triggers Lazio fans too, man. They call him an
yeah. Oh my
everybody.
God!
Like he just triggers the world.
I don't even trigger Roma fans.
You on Calcio Twitter.
He triggered one of the 4 Charlotte Checkers fans tonight, like too.
And this is what we're talking about with Jerry triggering the Lazio fans because listen, Jerry will occasionally throw out congratulatory tweets to Inter, and Simone Inzaghi. Jerry loves Simone Inzaghi, Inter's manager. He points out here Inzaghi in the last 3 finals against Juventus, 3-2 win 2017, 3-1 2019. 2-1 here today. So Jerry's trying to give Simone some credit, and he's getting attacked by Lazio fans. Jerry, I'm sorry that has to happen to you.
4 of you guys on Twitter. How are you guys attacking each other? I don't understand.
No.
Dumb fan base, man.
This Lazio violence has to stop, man.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I congratulate Milan when they win. I congratulate every team. I think. Like,
someone ranked your teams after you congratulated Milan for the way they played or something with some injuries, and like they ranked Milan as his 3rd favorite team. So that was cool, I guess.
I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps that he does the show with me. I think that because like people associate him with me, so. And I may have made a few dozen jokes over the last couple of years about how Jerry's an Inter fan. So I don't think I helped the situation.
Well, the Juve fan base hates my guts. They literally hate my guts. I know that, but
because Juve and Roma are the 2 teams that you never say anything nice about.
Well, it's funny because Roma fans are not bad to me though. It's like
there's a handful of us, but it's just the ones who are just the bad batch of the Roma Twitter. But the rest of us, we get along.
I guess Lupo goes after me, but he's on hot and cold. But like he's
Lupo's
his own person.
He wants to burn it all to the ground after that loss to Juventus. Like he was in a full meltdown. Like
that would be my immediate reaction too. But it's like after you sleep on it for a couple days, and you realize, okay, we can't blow it up.
You can't make any harsh judgments, guys. We all said it at the beginning of the year. All of us for once in Roma Twitter were in agreement. We need to be patient with Mourinho. Then all of a sudden, the one bad game, we get slapped 7-0 or 7-2 or whatever in Conference League by some farmers out in Denmark, and everyone's panicking. It's like, guys, something was going to happen. Like, we need to be patient. He's bringing in the guys he wants. We just got to wait it out. You can't expect Mourinho, especially the hole that Pilata and Monkey left us in. You can't expect the Friedkins and Mourinho to turn it around overnight. It's going to take time.
I don't know.
It's gonna take.
It's different. I bet you Lupo's the nicest guy, but these people act so different on Twitter, and they try to be something they're not. That's the sad part. And I just say that for social media. People, yeah, it's sad, but what are you gonna do, right? It is what it is. But I don't know. I talked to a buddy of mine today, actually, who's a Porto fan. At one of my stores.
What's he saying about Olivier, Jerry?
He said he's okay. He's not. There's a guy in their squad that is doing very well. I think Diaz, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody. but he's performing very well, and that's why Oliveira is not playing right now. Like he's kind of taken a step back on the team and kind of declined a bit.
Who's
He's
the
no
Porto fan? Rui?
No, this guy I work with. He's Portuguese actually. I forgot his name actually. Just blank.
I don't care what his name is. It's all right.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Sorry, I don't fuck. But anyways, this guy's he's Portuguese and he's a Porto fan, and we always talk about Porto and like he watches all their games, and he said he still has a quality in him, but like I said, he's not the player that he once was. He's 30 years old now. He was telling me, so he's kind of up there in age, but still, yeah, Luis Diaz, something like that. I don't know. He's playing in the midfield or something like that, but he watches Porto more than I do. I'm not even going to criticize because I don't watch Porto enough.
I don't even know where to find the Portuguese league in the States on TV. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a BN Sports. I have no idea, but I don't even know where to find that league. The only times I've ever watched Porto are in European competitions.
Champions League. Yeah.
Let me find Porto's line, actually. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Porto, let's see. They just beat Vizela 3-1.
Well, I want to get into because the two fans here on this panel who cheer for teams in Rome. You both have new managers this year. There have obviously been some ups and downs. I'd love to know from you, Mass, first on Mourinho, and obviously everybody knows it's early. Just 21 games into a 38 game Serie A season. But like, if you could give Jose a letter grade so far, what would you give him for what he's done so far at Roma?
Just off the fact that he's got us scoring more than 2 goals in some games and actually not losing to bottom table teams that I've seen Fonseca struggle with, I'm gonna give him a B plus A minus.
Okay. Wow.
I like because there's a lot of intangibles that he's brought to the team. I've seen the team kind of stick up for themselves. You're seeing a bit more unity with the players. Their body language on the field is kind of different. Yes, they do get frustrated, and it just shows a bit on the lack of strong mental toughness. But the last time I've seen Roma kind of exciting and actually playing attacking football, I can't remember. He's brought a good brand of attacking football that's taking advantage of the pieces that he has. So, like I said, like even Sunday, when's the last time I could have thought Roma put up 3 on Juventus?
True.
So I mean, I like what he's doing. It's gonna take time, obviously, but right now I'll give him a B plus A minus easily. He's a few pieces away from getting this team to where he wants it to be.
I like it. And listen, you guys know I'm big Mourinho fan, so I'm happy to hear that. What about you, Jerry, with Sarri? Because they're not really playing Sarri ball yet, at least not consistently. Lazio have had plenty of ups and downs this season, but do you see, 21 games in, are you seeing the adaptation? I think Immobile's certainly been fine with Sarri and in a 4-3-3. So if you could give a letter grade to Sarri so far, what do you give him?
It's tough. B, maybe B. I would give him C plus, because we're in 8th place. I don't see a lot of progression. What did you give, Mass? I didn't hear you.
You said
I gave a B plus A minus.
B plus. Holy fuck. For being in 8th place, tied with Lazio, fucking 30 points behind first. No,
but how much of that is the coach's fault, though? Because you knew the squad was going to have deficiencies in Rome.
You got to fucking learn how to adapt. It doesn't matter. You got.
Didn't Roma spend more than any other Serie A club this summer?
That is true. They did spend more.
I can't.
Aren't they paying this guy like Conte money? I don't know, man. I would give both. Anyway,
I'm just saying.
I want to hear your grades as well, Jan. No, Jan.
I speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
I speak.
No. But it's one of those things. Even though you're not a fan of either of those teams, you're probably more objective. So I'd love to hear your grades.
I think Sarri hasn't been supported by Lotito, so I think Lazio hired the better coach right now. Not the more storied coach. Mourinho has won more. Mourinho is a legend, and I don't want to be misquoted. He's just past his prime. And Sarri still has a lot more to offer, and Sarri has not been supported by Lotito. Lotito's a cheap bastard. And Roma did open up the pocketbooks. They're starting to get their players. I do believe that you got to give Roma at least another year before we really know where this project is going. I mean, right. I don't think the overhaul is done by any means. But Lazio had a better club to start with, in my opinion. And to be in the same position as Rome right now, I would if I'm Jerry, I'd be pissed off. And if I'm Mass, yeah, I'm looking good because I'm tied with Lazio. So like they were better than us. So, it's how you look at it. But it's still the season. Like the standings now don't really matter. I mean, one of them can finish fourth, right? Anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Mourinho's getting more support, so you should see something better come out of Roma. But to me, they're both a C right now. You can't be in 8th place and be happy with that as a fan of these teams because they should be fighting for top 4. They should be a lot closer to top 4.
Yeah.
At least on paper, I think both teams should be closer to top 4.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not
and really early on, like Roma had a great start to the year and they were in top 4 for a while. Yeah.
That might have put the whole we got to give Mourinho time. Well, they started off on fire. I think that just flipped a switch in a lot of the fans' heads. It's like, well, no, we can maybe do it now. And now it's coming a bit harder because, seasons are ups and downs. I know I'm a Milan fan. We go through a lot of those. So,
sure.
Yeah. So.
Well, and speaking of flipping switches, and I want to get your take on this, Jan, first, and then I want to hear from Jerry.
Tell me again that Oliveira is good. Ivano, tell us again that he's a really good player. Tell us one more time.
Well, now he says he's great.
Oh, fuck, man. You guys signed fucking so many players.
You're fucked, Jerry. Next Rome derby, he's going to score a hat trick.
He is a good player. I think he's a good player, but you're probably right, Jerry. Like
how many players have
not the Oliveira that we remember 3 years ago in Champions League and stuff.
Call me in a year when these players are actually panning out for Roma and they actually made fucking 3-4 good signings that Mass doesn't have to say tomorrow morning that we need to fucking try to figure out how to get rid of Pastore or fucking Nzonzi or
it's looking good. We shipped off VR and who else? I think we found
VR's on loan.
VR's on loan, but we actually were they both on loan? I think was it VR and who else that we finally shipped off?
Everybody's on loans. Fucking all these guys are on loans.
Speaking of loans, the one loan I am upset about and I would have liked to have kept him was Calafiori. I don't know why they shipped him off.
Yeah. He was a homegrown talent, no?
Yeah, because
what else is new with the homegrown talents? You guys have one in your lineup as well that we did dirty. Yeah, with Florenzi. You know what I mean? Like it's always the same story with Roma and homegrown talent. Outside of
he wanted to score so bad against you guys last week.
Oh my god, that free kick!
Never saw him take a free kick like that in my life. But where's this guy?
I would have put the remote through the television if you would have scored.
Hold on, an upgrade on 3 fucking busts of signings. Waste of money. You know what I mean? Like just dead weight money. Like just
Cristante
money
wasted.
Someone we
offload.
That's why I think Lazio and Roma both fucking garbage. I don't give a shit, man. I got to hear that Roma's better than Lazio. Lazio's better than Roma.
The whole city of Rome is.
Speaking of dude, I saw something. I saw something really funny today. You know how sometimes when you're talking about this, so both your clubs are shit. Yet it doesn't stop Lazio and Roma fans from fighting, right? I'm on Twitter today, and listen, everybody on Calcio Twitter, they love Sansone. Like the guy, he talks a lot of crap. Sometimes you can't tell how serious he is or not. He's a Napoli fan, and then he posts a tweet about something about the Champions League, and he's like, "Oh, just so Roma fans know what playing in a Champions League final is about." I'm like, bro, what do you know about Champions League finals? Like,
they've gone further in the competition that you ever dreamed of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're in the semis a few years ago.
Semifinals,
yeah. So I thought that was, but you know what? But with that dude, and I love him. I can't tell when sometimes he may be saying stupid shit on purpose because he just likes the interactions. So maybe he knew, hey, I'm a Napoli fan telling Roma fans they don't know what a Champions League trophy looks like. He probably knew that's going to blow up in my face.
I still remember that game, and then it all fell apart against Liverpool. That was a good run. No, but that was a good run by Roma that year. Wild run.
It was Cinderella. It was nice.
It was a great run.
Had a good team.
That was with Di Francesco. Like that year, I thought, maybe this Di Francesco can actually coach. He's got him in the Champions League semifinal.
He just let them play. He let the players play. He didn't do anything.
And then we tried the high press, very very quick Liverpool team, and saw how that panned out for us.
I remember that. Yeah,
Matt, I'm gonna give you a trophy for this. Because you got 4 goals on Atalanta this year. You deserve a fucking trophy. I'm getting you a fucking bonsai tree.
Oh, no, but how many extra points does that get you in? When
No,
you beat a
but
team
when
4-1, does that get you more than 3 points for the win?
It's so sad. It's sad that we as fans now have to be satisfied for a certain win. We got 4 goals against
No, but-
Atalanta. We are fucking no. I
No,
want
but
trophies,
any other
man.
year
I
we
want
would've-
progress, trophies. I want to see us get to the final. I want to see
It's
us get
gonna
to the semis.
hopefully it comes. I'm just saying it's gonna take some time. I'm not looking at this through rose tinted glasses, guys. It's
Nobody.
gonna take time. But the thing is
Ivano's
that
asking who Lazio's signing.
Look at
nobody-
can spend money, not won't spend money. We can spend money.
Tade's
difference.
busy looking in the second division in Turkey, looking for the next
Yeah.
bargain deal.
Yeah.
We can't buy
Jerry,
players.
tell me, we were talking on the phone earlier today. Do you think Tade is he legitimately on the hot seat? Because I think he deserves to be
Yes.
on the hot seat, but he's actually on the hot seat now.
I think Lazio fans are delusional when I get freaking people messaging me. Oh, but he got Savic and he got Alberto and he got Ciro Immobile and like, yeah, you're living freaking 4 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about 4 years ago, okay? The last 3 years have been duds. This past summer has been our best transfer market since Milan were interested in Tade, and then
Right.
he re-signed with Lazio. Our summer transfer market was spot on, the best one he's had since I don't know when. Like every signing that he made has panned out. I don't think there's been a bad sign. I guess whose side you could put into that category has been bad, but
That's probably the guy the coach wanted. One of the few guys that they actually got him.
I think Lazio. Chris, buddy, man, Lazio and Roma are both delusional. I don't know. I think,
Rome is burning. Both teams are
getting back to Terry.
You guys are all fucking delusional. They're both delusional. To be fair, I think Roma's just on outfield too. I had a few Roma fans actually message me saying that Mourinho out, and they provided good points. That Mourinho's stuck in his own ways.
Yeah. Well, but they knew that when they hired him, though. Like he's been like that for how many years? Like it's and the thing about Mourinho that this guy, he really needs to take a year off. Like I think it would make him. I'm not saying do it right now.
Leva, look at this idiot. Fucking you morte di fam. Okay. Fucking Leva messaged me because I freaking bantered the guy. Okay.
Because he's a bitch. He's soft. Because he couldn't take a
I
little
got
banter.
This guy telling me about how Leva is 36. I know what my team's problems are. I don't hide behind the wall. I see it, man. Pedro, 35, looks better than half of Roma. I'm sorry, man. The guy looks better than half of Roma. I don't know how you're not seeing this. The guy.
He's one of the best attackers in Serie A this year.
He's dangerous, man. He's quick. He makes dangerous runs.
I'm going to go back to what Jan said before. You want to know why Pedro's still good at 34 years old? Because he knows how to train, like Jan said. He knows how to take care of his body, like Jan said. This is a guy who knows how to play to the level his body allows him to. He doesn't overexceed. He is a smart player who knows what he's doing, man. Like, that's why he didn't succeed on Fonseca. Like, they didn't know how to use him. Goes to Sarri, and his best seasons, some of his best seasons are under Sarri. The numbers are impressive. So it's not like Sarri is a bad coach. I don't know about Mourinho. I don't watch enough Roma to criticize him. I think that Mourinho overall is a good manager, but is he the right fit for Roma? We'll see. But at the end of the day, Sarri needs to get players. And I'll say one thing. If they don't make any sales soon, Lazio's in a lot of trouble because you can't depend on buying all their players in one transfer market. They need to start now, bring a few in, and then sign a few in the summer. You can't just go guns blazing one shot and that's it. But
nobody in Serie A can. Nobody can. You have to do these pragmatic moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, it's funny. I just find it funny. Like none of our teams are very good. None of our teams are very bad.
I think Milan's good
on different levels. But even Inter, as great as Inter is inside of Italy, and they have the deepest team. Once you start comparing Serie A teams to other leagues around the world that are in Champions League final group of like the round of 16, our teams are nothing, guys. We don't 100%. You think that Manchester City is going to be scared because Darmian and Gagliardini are coming off the bench, and we're like, oh, look at the deep bench Inter has. Yeah, they do have a deep bench for Serie A standards.
Not for Europe.
You know what I mean? Man City's going to look at that and say, what? Who are these? Who are these guys? You know, so
they have Liverpool.
we have to always
Liverpool. Not Man City.
It's
Liverpool.
fine to
think it could be
banter amongst
Liverpool,
ourselves, but in the grand scheme of things, our teams are all really falling behind, and it's a league problem wide. You know what I mean? I think we banter each other just to feel good about it and to forget how bad the league is.
Well, the thing is, like, you can only
leagues.
play who's in front of you, and even if the quality of the league is not what it was, you know, I go back to, and Jan and I, probably all of us, like, came up watching Serie A in the same era. Like, I started paying attention. I'm 37 years old. I started paying attention late 80s, early 90s, and Serie A was the league. Like, Serie A was the league during that time. So I don't look at it at the same standard right now. I hope that they can get to a similar spot again sometime in the future. But yeah, I just I take pride in the domestic competitions, and I want to see somebody do well in Europe, as long as it's not Juventus, but we don't usually have to worry about that.
That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
That's never gonna happen. But I wanted to go around the room with expectations, because obviously, like, as an Interista, coming off of Scudetto win, you know I was discouraged, certainly losing Conte, selling Lukaku, losing Hakimi. Still, though, my preseason goal for Inter, and I hope they can accomplish it, was still Scudetto, because I knew that there was still quality on the squad. I like Inzaghi. I'm still, and Jerry was telling me to have more faith today. I still, I wonder if kind of down the stretch, if not having Conte may hurt the squad's mentality, but I do like what Inzaghi is doing, no question. So preseason, despite losing some people, I still had to say the objective is Scudetto, and that if they don't win it, I will be disappointed. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm not necessarily expecting to win it. They're in first place right now. Great. But if they don't win it, I will be disappointed. I'm curious, Jan, where you're at, because obviously, Milan, they came in second last year. They were tremendous last year for the first half of the season. They were tremendous to start the season this year, and they're still very much in the mix. I mean, down 1 point, Inter have one game in hand, but worst case scenario, you'd be down 4 points. So what is your objective? Is it Scudetto or bust, or is it another top four finish and you worry about Scudetto later?
I think top four finish. I know that my team has a habit of letting players go for free, but I have to commend my management for always finding replacements.
Yes.
We've lowered our debt.
Is excellent.
We spent money properly. I have a feeling that, they're going to target some more players this summer, and we need to finish top four. Look, if we manage to stay close to Inter for a Scudetto in the last couple of weeks, I'll be happy if we win it. But my goal at the beginning of the year was top four. I looked at our squad. We have no bench. We don't really have, much of an answer if we get more injuries again. I'm surprised that we've won games with Kalulu and Gabia playing center back, but maybe sometimes I'm too hard on our young players and they're actually decent. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, and also I give a lot of credit to Pioli, and I think I have to, because I've noticed the last couple of years, Milan have had a ton of injuries, and it doesn't affect the results as much as you'd think it would. I've seen Milan play some of their best games the last couple of years when they've got 4 or 5 important players out.
We've Michael Lisi posted this. I think out of 21 games, we've fielded 20 different starting lineups. So wow. I think that's more of a testament to how much of a group this group has become. And they're all very similar in how they're used in the Pioli system. I'm not saying Salamakers is a world beater, but he plays the system that is being asked of him. Messias plays what is being asked of him. They're all playing. They're all following. So I got to commend Pioli. Pioli's done a great job with this group, and I'm happy for him. The guy deserved it. He was always a bit looked down upon for what he didn't accomplish at Inter, and everyone kind of looked at him as after he left Lazio, he wasn't really good anymore either. So I'm happy that he got some respect back to his name. And,
that's one. When he was it about 2.5 years ago, when he signed with Milan, I was just kind of chuckling. I'm like, they really think this guy's going to get him somewhere? But I give him credit. I give credit where credit is due. I've had an anti-Pioli agenda for a few years now, but he's done a good job at Milan. I take nothing away. Well, what about you? What about you, Mass, with Roma? Obviously not Scudetto or bust this year with that squad and with a new coach. No. But what was where were you drawing the line? Preseason expectation, was it Europa League, top 4? What was your objective?
Preseason, I went there with no expectations to avoid being disappointed. So I didn't really set the bar very high. But seeing how they've been playing, I'm going top 5, maybe a play-in spot for Champions League, but we'll probably just play Europa. Anything outside of Conference League would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
What
we have
about
the quality.
sorry.
We have the quality for Europa. I think we can handle Europa.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. Despite some shakier showings in Conference League, but I think we could do it. I mean, look, top 5. I'm okay with top 5 at this point. I'm okay with that.
What about you, Jerry, with Lazio? What was your preseason objective as far as where they should finish?
I was hoping 4th place, but I don't think that's realistic. You got Napoli, who are still figuring out ways to win. Atalanta.
Yeah, that's a big match against Inter this weekend. Inter-Atalanta is going to be big. Or Atalanta-Inter, I think it is.
I think the whole thing is you got to try to aim for 5th, 6th if you're Lazio. Apparently, they knew already that top 4 was never a realistic goal for Lazio this season. But at the end of the day, it's you got to aim for some progression. I want to see at least Lazio kind of progress under Jose Mourinho, kind of get that Jose Mourinho under Maurizio Sarri, trying to get that identity. But I think the one thing that's important is that these managers don't get enough. The only preseason objective is higher than Roma. I guess
nothing wrong with that. They're rivals, right? I mean, you always want to finish ahead of your crosstown rival.
Who wants to finish lower than the other? It's true though. He's not
right.
wrong.
Exactly. Like, listen, like all the times Inter is finished below Milan, people get to banter you. It goes both ways. People are bantering Milan. It's like it sucks. You want to finish ahead of your rival all the time.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Here's the problem, and I guess this can go for Jose Mourinho, is that these managers are not getting enough time to kind of instill their philosophy, their tactics, their identity, their ideas. I was listening on Lazio Lounge, and credit to Vittorio and Alistair that it's true that this is the first week that Lazio has a full week to prepare for a match and can train every day. I think that Mourinho doesn't even care about the Europa League and Coppa Italia because he wants the extra weeks to train with his guys and kind of instill that philosophy now. And that's why he really wanted to finish first in the Europa League. So he could have tried to train them and give them that. He had the extra 2 weeks to kind of prep with them. And that has been an issue. And I think that's kind of affected our season, is that you got midweek matches all the time. You got weekend matches, midweek matches. So if it wasn't Europa League, it was the Coppa Italia. Sorry, it was Serie A. If it wasn't Serie A, it was back to Europa League. And then there would be double week match in a week where Serie A, and then back to Coppa to Europa League. So there's not enough time for managers to kind of manage with their players and kind of get that system in place. Whereas Pioli is fine. He's already had 2 years and kind of has built that foundation. Simone Inzaghi doesn't need time because he already has the players in place to kind of work for his system. There are coaches already are in a good position who don't need those midweek to kind of train. Whereas Sarri, he needs those extra weeks to kind of get his players to what he wants, and they have that idea. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think the Mercato is going to be a dud. I don't think we're going to buy it. Might be some last minute signing. I don't know. We should try and win the Coppa Italia. Yeah, I agree, but you know how these managers think, and I don't think neither team is strong enough. You guys got to go through Inter. We got to go through Milan. Like the obstacles here are so difficult, but yeah,
it's a Copa game. Why not? You can beat teams like that. It could happen. I mean, depending on the objectives of the other team, depending on injuries. If Inter passes the next round in Champions League, they'll be further into the Champions League.
Hey guys,
they'll be focused on that. I mean, you never know. Yeah, but it's like anything can happen. Like that's the thing with Serie A. It's like Milan can lose to Spezia and then beat Juventus. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and,
like,
and
can I,
don't forget about
and
good
COVID is
shout.
huge, like Chris
COVID.
says. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know.
COVID is huge, and players
COVID
don't
is
come
huge.
back the same. Brahim Diaz started the season on fire, got COVID, didn't
Right.
look good up until it took him 3-4 games before he started getting that pace back. These guys are athletes, but they're still it's still impacting them. And
Well, biggest move today by Lazio was Jordan Lukaku on loan to what is it? I think to Venezia. Is it? Hold on.
Really?
oh yeah,
He got loaned out. The guy. Oh my god! I thought he was gonna become something for Lazio, man, and I thought he was gonna have a chance under. It's sad. You pay these guys wages and like they're at home doing nothing.
It happens.
It's so bad. The amount of bad signings that we've done in the last 3 years. It's Rizzo Dormisi. The guy's making good money to sit at home. Like Dennis Vavro.
I forgot about him.
Oh my god, Marici. Fucking
Marici.
it's like I wrote a tweet like we signed 5 guys alone. It was over $60 million. Like people say, oh, it's just $60 million.
Hold on, I just want to clarify
I'm
this
sorry.
by David. When we talk about COVID, like, listen, we're not talking about who's gonna fucking live and die. We're talking about
No.
how you've got a match coming up this
boy.
weekend, and they will not allow you to play. I'm not talking about how sick someone's gonna get.
Oh god.
I'm talking about players not being eligible to play for their team. COVID is huge because how many players across Europe and in Serie A have had to miss games over the last month or so with this Omicron because they're catching it. We're not talking about how sick they're going to get when they get it. We're talking about players not being available because they test positive for it. Oh! And
I know. And I guess all the studies about long hauling is just fake, but I guess that's all.
Yeah, and even like, dude, that's a whole nother conversation. Like, we
that's another conversation.
Yeah.
They have to face.
It's completely
It's not just an injury. The guy's
like,
like, I have a cough, can't play. You know what I mean? Like, you're not on the
Yeah.
match list. You gotta
Exactly.
react as a coach, no?
Yeah, but we still love you, David. And we love everybody in the
that's
chat. Want to throw some shout, Chris DeSantis in there, David, Ivano. I love
The Roma
Ivano. Like he's always in with the Roma banter. We appreciate it.
the
I saw
Roma
my guy.
contingency was strong.
Yeah, well, it is seriously.
The Roma
Mass brings the
contingency was
people in.
strong.
Saw my guy Mo talking some Inter in the chat, and
I'm surprised the Italian Serie A refs let them into the chat. They're always against them, you know? Like I thought they were just gonna ban them from even joining the YouTube chat. AIA is at the door. No, you're Roma. Sorry, can't help you.
I love it.
Red card.
I love it. But hey, before we wrap it up, I want to give you guys a chance to promote anything you're doing. I'll start with you, Mass, because you guys, you and the crew at the Daily Stakes, Nick, are doing. Nick and Dylan, you're doing so many good things, man. And I see the videos all over the timeline and the podcast. You guys are killing it, man. Let people know where to find you.
Yeah, you can find us at the Daily Stakes. So across all social media, we got our podcast that's out every Thursday at 9 a.m. I'm recording that actually right after I get off with you guys. So
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm going back to back now. So we're gonna get that going. We're starting our coverage for the NFL playoffs, and Nick does his thing with the NBA. So we're covering a lot of North American sports. I'm going to try and weasel my way in with some Serie A because I've been looking at some betting lines with Serie A and maybe try and bring that to the my Calcio audience that I have grown on Twitter. So it's all in the works. We got some good stuff coming up. So just tune in and we'll keep you guys all in the loop.
I love it. Jan, what about you? Anything you want to promote?
Well, I mean, I'm with Milan Club Montreal. We're in the process of organizing our FIFA tournament that we do every year for charity. So it's going to be in conjunction with Fondazione Milan. I know Marcello's in talks with them to iron out the final details. Last year we set it up to have different clubs around the world do their own tournament and then send us the winner in a big tournament. But I think this year it's going to be open to all. Yeah, exactly. It'll be open to all. So just keep your eyes peeled for Milan Club Montreal on Twitter, and we'll be posting that so you can sign up and have fun for charity. That's it.
That is cool, man. Support good causes. Jerry, what about you? You working on any stories this week? Anything coming out?
I don't know. I just wrote a piece on the Lazio game versus Inter.
I saw that. Good work.
Yeah, I wrote that. I don't know. I got a few pieces on the go for Laziale. One Juventus piece I wrote. Maybe I'll be pegged as a Juventus fan now for writing a piece on Juve.
Your fourth favorite team. It's your
Jesus
fourth favorite
Christ,
team.
man. Yeah. First, fucking. I don't know, man. I don't know who I hate more, Juve or Roma. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're a closet Romanisti. You don't even know it yet, Jerry. It's coming.
Oh, can you imagine?
Team.
Yeah. I banter Juve today and writing out Juve Merda and everything, and I tweeted out that Bastoni should have had the foul. I got attacked by like 20 Juventus fans.
I think he should have.
I think he should have got. I think that should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
People are saying that he dove. I don't know, man. I thought contact was in that.
I was gonna say I don't see like how can you dive when you clearly get tripped?
Yeah.
Like that would be incredible acting. Like when you clearly get tripped and you fly forward, it's like wow. And he started flying after he got tripped, not before. So
I thought Barella was a foul too. I thought that should have clearly been a foul because Chiellini takes him down. And I don't care that people are saying that he throws himself down. You're once the minute you're not even playing for the ball and you're just making any contact with a player inside the box. It's a no-no, man. Like, why are you even bothering to even touch the player if you know he's got no possession of the ball? Like, it's just stupid, man.
Chiellini gets away with murder. It's in his contract.
Yeah, he could have gotten like 3 yellow cards today, and
never.
Well, the one on Dzeko was not a penalty, I think. Actually, if you watch the replay,
I thought that was less. That was less of a. I think it was a penalty. We talked about it at the top, but that was less of a penalty than the others.
His foot goes into the other player. I don't know who challenges him.
But
his foot goes into him though. When you see him, he makes the challenge, and
they call that all the time, Jerry. They call it
stupid.
All the time.
It's so dumb.
I would just say, don't call anything. Just let them butcher themselves to death. Just let it go, man. Punch the guy in the box. Just go.
Cocky. Yeah, let him fight a little bit.
Let him fight it out. That's all.
Oh man, well listen, I appreciate everyone who took the time to watch and to listen to this. And by the way, you can get us video here on YouTube. You can also get an audio only version. It posts the next day, usually on our podcast channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you get your pods. Just search Calcio Connection. So huge thanks again to Jan, to Mass, 2 of our favorites, to Jerry, everybody's favorite. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.